Hello folks, this is round two. I've been organizing my boxes in the other room, and I came across a couple more cards that aren't being used in the system at the moment. Some I kind of use for testing and a little for collection as well, because some of them I managed to get extremely cheap. In fact, this one right here I got for free. A buddy of mine grabbed a pile of stuff from somebody who was getting rid of a bunch of old computers and stuff, and he had a pile of these 700 Pros. In fact, in the other video, the one with Ruby on it, the AGP version of this, I also got for free. So this is another free one, and I've tested these, both of them. They both work, so that's good. They got their own little extra pads on them to keep the VRMs cool. So maybe that's why they still work. Some of my $5 cards include the I gave $5 for this one. This is a Quadro FX 3500. I mean, it's a no thrills card for modern gaming, but you know, I mean, you ain't gonna do much with it on modern gaming, but for, you know, it has a place in the retro world that you can, you know, like I said, it's maybe comparable to a 7800 GT-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Can't remember exactly which one it's comparable to, but it's very common. This is one of the more common Quadro cards that are like a, you know, 7800 GT, GTS cards like that, in that category. I like it. I mean, for $5, these are nice. They do require 6 people. Aside from that, you know, it's kind of neat to have. I've even went to the point of getting some of these. I know these are display adapters. I mean, you might as well call them that, but these are kind of older ones. Like this is a 2400 Pro. Of course, I plan on putting a low profile bracket on it. I got a couple of spare low profile brackets, and that was my intended case if I ever made a small form factor retro system and wanted to use this card. That's what I would use it for. Small form factor PC gaming, you know, stuff like that. Because I mean, I looked it up. The funny thing about it is this card, according to the stats I looked up, is 16 times more powerful than an FX 5500, and I managed to survive 2 years on one of those cards. So, you know, it's a weak card, but it's a whole lot better than cards that I experienced back in the early mid-2000s. So, anyhow, here's the next one. Now this is a very common card. It's a Radeon HD 4550. The reason why I like this particular model is, of course, it's got DVI and DisplayPort instead of DMS59, which a lot of these cards have, including this one. The only reason why I snatched this one was because it's got, whoops, well, hopefully it still works, but yeah, it's got 2 display ports. So this is one of the rare ones that don't have a DMS59. It's got 2 display ports instead. So hopefully it still works. It still looks okay. I think it'll survive. I don't think it had too hard of a life. So this one, oh man, I got a long story on this one. This is an X1300 Pro. It was listed as an all-in-wonder card, which I showed you on my video, previous collection video. An actual 9250 all-in-wonder card. This came included with the pamphlets and some of the games that came with the all-in-wonder version of this card. And of course, I got kind of gypped on the card part of it, but I've tested on my Windows 2000 system in the past, and it does fine. I can see some use cases for it, so I spent a little too much for it. And that's about a $10 to $15 card tops. As you see, I got another Quadro over here. That's the FX 3500. I'm about to get a 3400. I found a good deal on the FX 3400, and I'm going to definitely test it out in the near future with some older operating systems. See how it fares. Now this card right here is one of my final cards I upgraded to back before I started building my own PCs. My last OEM system that I bought as a daily driver, because I wasn't building my own PCs back in that mid to late 2000s is when I transitioned into just going ahead and building my own. I would upgrade all my parts on the OEM systems, but I wasn't into building them yet. That came a little bit later. It came around 2009. That's when I started building my own. But yeah, this card's very, I remember this card in particular, this exact model, everything. I bought this at Best Buy, a Galaxy 9500 GT. And I tell you what, I know it's not much of a card, but if you go from a GeForce 6200 to that, it was night and day better than a 6200. I will go on record and tell you that. During the time that I was buying cards like this, I was playing online games like Guild Wars and Diablo 2 and stuff like that. And Guild Wars in particularly, that was the first card that I ever put in a system that I could get. I could maintain 60 frames a second on that game. That was the first one. This was the first card that I could actually maintain 60. I mean, I was used to 25, 20. For many years with the FX 5500, I was used to 20 frames a second. I went years playing it at 20 frames a second. So when I got this card and just saw the difference, you know, I was impressed with it for the time. You know, it's a DDR2 card. It's got 1 gig of memory, which is nice. I guess that helps. It's on a 128-bit memory bus. So it's not the worst card that they've ever came out with. It's definitely, I can tell you a lot of cards off the top of my head that it's way better than. It's way better than the 8400 GS. It's way better than a GeForce 210. It's better than any of those that league of card. It's definitely a league ahead of those. Is it a true gaming card even for its time? Probably not. But like I said, there are definitely worse out there. But anyhow, this is just box one. It's a small box I had. I'm trying to sift my oldest PCI Express cards together. I will showcase my PCI and just a couple other boxes in my collection in future videos. This is Matt, signing off.